Okay, perfect.
And your face is.
Yeah, I can't help that.
Yeah, well, should we get a podcast bag? Can the podcast afford a bag?
I don't know.
Jam
That's
over
pretty.
that face. All right, here we go.
All right.
Hey, everybody, welcome to League of Legends Anonymous podcast. It is I, your host, Wise Papa Smurf, the Tiger King, and with me are my two gay polygamous husbands, Double Sniffed and Gensos. How you guys doing?
You can have the throne, bud, for the next 20 years. Enjoy that. Let me know
I'm
how that
running
works
for
out for you.
president! 2016,
Oh,
2020, Governor 2018.
Pretty Joe Exotic.
And if,
Yeah,
any
Blake,
if any of those animal rights people come around here, I'm gonna put an effigy of a dildo in their mouth, and we'll do that. Other way around, dildo in the mouth of their effigy. That's what I'll do.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll
Oh
shoot
man,
it.
You may have noticed, by the way, that I am on a non-TFT episode, and Blake was really just trying to fill a hole of a gold support main that doesn't have a negative win rate. So yeah. So I figured I'd hop on and help out with that.
You've been
so you got
holding
a new
that shot
account?
in your pocket, haven't you? You've been holding.
I
that
have.
on.
I've been thinking about that for like 20 minutes, Blake. I pulled up your OPGG earlier just to make sure.
Is it
Oh,
Your
shit.
49% win rate does
God
count
damn
as
it.
negative.
Yeah, I've lost everything since I hit my plat promos, and then it goes. It was like, dude. Okay, so status update, everybody. I got into my plat promos. That was fun, and then it really, really wasn't because I hit like two incredibly toxic teams like back to back. Like the first team was like, "I hate you, you stupid piece of shit," to like each and every other one of them, and I'm like, "Hey guys, can we get along? Like, we just gotta win a game. 20 minutes, friendship, togetherness." And they're like, "Fuck you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. This is
It
one
never
of
works.
those." I was like, "Man," I was like, "I'll tell you what. What's you guys' favorite exotic animal? I'm gonna build a cult around it. I'll get you guys to play for 20 hours a day for 120 bucks a week. You know, I'll feed you out of a Walmart
That
truck.
actually sounds like a dream job.
Feed you out of a Walmart truck of spoiled meat. We'll make a big
Oh,
old
man.
family together."
There's a difference between spoiled meat and expired meat. Like, let's
true.
be fair.
Yeah.
I don't think there was at that park.
Probably not.
I'm gonna
But
make
in
know,
general,
pizzas out of it. They'll be the best pizzas ever, homemade.
It didn't sound that slimy.
So, yeah, I couldn't carry that. Then I went into the next game, and I had like one of those like tantrum baby mid laners, right? And it was great because like the mid laner's Orianna, the Echo is our jungler ganking for the Orianna. What do you do when you gank with an Echo? Right? You dash to him, you throw a Q, and it goes out and hits him, and it slows him. Then it comes back and it does that true damage. That's what you want, right? So the Echo runs in, dashes, misses. The Q hits the entire wave, and Orianna loses her shit. I mean, just explodes in chat. "God damn it, I had that froze, you piece of shit." Like, anger typing. "Fuck this game. This game's fucking over. Stupid ass jungler. Blah, 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 blah." And I'm like, no! Like, just rein it back in. I'll come gank for you. Just chill out. You know, "Nope, fuck this guy. Blah, 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 blah." It's like, piece of shit. Like, okay, whatever. The typing stops. And I think, okay, maybe they've got it back under control. Maybe we're good, right? The Echo is killing Dragon by himself. And, you know, it's kind of a dangerous play. Shit wasn't where it needed to be to make a play like that unless you're just going to sneak it, right? And I think that was his idea, but he didn't bring a pink, and he didn't really do it in a super sneaky way. And okay, you're going to try things. That's cool. I'm on board. We're trying things. That's what we're doing. So he goes to try to sneak it. Well, of course, their team, like, and then the guy's running, and the Orianna rotates down to max range of him, and then just parallels him with the ball. Doesn't put it on him, doesn't give him the speed that he would need to get away, doesn't put a shield on him, doesn't shockwave. She's got shockwave she could have used to displace the other team. She didn't do any of that. She just runs next to him at max range and watches him die. Then gets back to lane and types, "That's for my CS, asshole." And I'm like, oh.
Nice.
Oh,
And then it was
no.
over.
And then
And they
it's
were
over.
friends
I
after that
love
because it was
this
even.
Oriana.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fucking amazing.
So that's the games, and like we couldn't win any of those. And then I actually had a really creative flame on the last game of my series that we lost. Like, so I got paired with a Teemo jungle and
OP as fuck.
Yeah, they buffed it, Blake. What are you talking about? Riot said it's
they
viable
sure
now.
did. Good. So I got paired with a Teemo jungle and a Shin top that AFK'd or DC'd or whatever, just lost connection to the game, didn't come back for a long time. And he's up against like a Trendemir. And so what does he do when he comes back? He builds Bork. And I'm like, you're already behind, but I don't say anything. I'm just like, you know what? I'm glad you're back. Maybe we can win this game. Let's go team, right? So we start losing real hard. And like real hard. And the Teemo wises off because here's the other catch. I'm with a Jinx who's terrible. Like, I mean, like literally she says, I was auto-filled into ADC. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm like, okay. Well, that's fine. I can carry this. This is fine. I can't carry this, by the way. Nobody could carry this. Like, a guy like Goro from Mortal Kombat shouldn't carry this, right? So she's so bad, and like she keeps getting everyone killed, and then I'm dying to save her.
Whoa. Is the name of this Jinx Cooter Snake? Is it?
No.
Is it Cooter Snake?
No.
Because I'm looking at your match history. That's the only Jinx that you played with.
Maybe
And
it
literally,
is.
it
Is it
says
Cooter Snake? I
that
thought it was a
name
chick name.
I mean, that is a chick name.
Snake in that cooter. Oh my.
Okay, so maybe it's
God.
Cooter Snake. I don't know.
Coot. Oh, Cootie Coot.
So
Sorry, I had to interrupt on that.
no, that's fine. I didn't
That's an
realize.
important distinction.
I
to
didn't
make.
really pay attention to the name, how the snake was or its orientation. All snakes are the same to me, Double.
Fair enough.
Ballsack snake. It doesn't matter.
Maybe those are the snakes that Joe Exotic put in Carole Baskin's mailbox for her birthday. A couple of poisonous
I'm pretty
cooter
sure
snakes.
Carole Baskins was my ADC. In
That's
this
what happened.
situation,
You got
right?
paired with Carole Baskin. That's Oriana. That
Ringar's
Oriana was
on the
Carole
other
Baskin.
team. Yeah, Ringar's on
Blake's
the other
not
team.
Platt.
She's doing a big cat rescue, and I can't get shit done over here. So
Covered in sardine oil.
I mean, our lane was covered in sardine oil because we got fucking destroyed. So anyway, I die a whole bunch. I'm playing like Poppy or something. I don't remember. I think it was Poppy.
You were playing Blitzcrank.
Oh, was I? Okay, whatever. Whatever I'm playing, I died a shit ton that game because every fight we would have, the ADC, I'd like rip somebody over, knock them up, do all the shit, and the ADC would be like, ah, and just take the fuck off. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this is the go in button. Just shoot them, you motherfucker. Like, oh no. So this Teemo wises off to us in the jungle, and he says, huh, I kind of thought that the Teemo jungle was going to lose us this game. And then the Shin's like, yeah, I thought the Bork Shin was going to lose us this game. And I'm like, you guys are like the left and right Twix of losing this game. There's no point in arguing who's doing it to us.
Well, Blake, all I learned from that story is you don't read patch notes because they buff Bork and they buff Teemo Jungle, so obviously they're meta picks now.
That is correct. So you guys have been doing the climb. What have you guys been doing?
Okay, audio problem. Sorry, Tag just hit me up and said that Blake sounds good, but that me and Genso sound like robots.
That's what I'm going for.
You guys sound like robots?
That's my shtick, is I try to sound like a robot.
Well, you sound great to me, and it'll probably come through the audio okay, but do we want to stop at 8 minutes in? I don't know how to
stop
fix
it.
That's 9 minutes of my life I'll never get back.
Oh, you're never. If you had listened to a fucking Blake story,
did I just fix it?
9 minutes that you don't get back. That's
Jinzos, is it fixed? I think
Me?
it is.
I don't know.
Jinzos, whatever. Tagging, is it fixed?
That just fixed it. That just fixed it.
Damn.
Booyah. Did you go flip a switch somewhere in the side of your room, Blake?
Yeah, I figured it out. I figured out what the problem is.
Okay.
So
You just got up and then came back and it fixed it somehow.
Yep.
Oh no, that was my son who didn't listen to me and didn't go to bed. He was sitting at the bottom of the stairs playing Minecraft, and I could hear it through the door. And I'm like,
Nice.
no, your ass is going to bed.
Let the beatings
Go.
commence. Beat him on the podcast, Blake. Bring your child forth. so
Beat
that we
him
can
live on
Beat him
Wednesday.
live on the podcast.
They're
Ups
not
from
gonna-
that.
I'm not going to do anything about it. Coronavirus is paralyzing the system. They don't even have people to investigate
It's true.
that shit.
It's true.
And if they did, they couldn't come to your
Yeah,
house.
they couldn't
They'd have
come
to stay
here.
6
I'd
feet
just
away,
cough
so
at them and they'd run, and then we're good. So,
it's the perfect. Yeah, it's the perfect.
speaking
excuse.
of, you guys, LCS season was canceled. I know Double has an opinion on this that he wants
Wait,
to
It was
talk
not
about.
canceled. It was moved to online.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what your thing was. It
Oh.
wasn't canceled. The live events were canceled, and it was moved to only online. And I know you have an opinion on this. I would love to hear.
Can we talk about how
What?
fucked up Rito is for keeping people here during the fucking corona epidemic? Am I out of my mind on this? That like
Not at all.
what the fuck are y'all doing? Like, let Bjergsen be in fucking Bjergville when his fucking parents die, maybe. Like, maybe we should let that happen. Like, I know Double Lift doesn't have that problem. He doesn't have to worry about his parents dying from the coronavirus.
Oh,
there are a-
Oh my God.
dude.
There are a lot of people.
Come on.
I think he's still got one left.
Come on, man.
Jesus, man.
That's the most effed up shit I've ever heard.
Like,
That's not that
wow.
bad.
No, it's
His
not, it's
brother
but it's like at least
murdered
like
his
top 20.
parents. Like,
Allegedly, he has not been convicted in a court of law.
are you sure?
We're both defense attorneys.
I'm pretty sure.
Where's your
that
pride?
He may have. I don't know.
Anyway,
Anyway,
just
go on.
because Double Lift doesn't have to worry about his parents dying from the coronavirus doesn't mean that we don't have like a bunch of foreign people
No.
here. You wanted my opinion. You knew what
Yeah,
this
I did.
entailed.
I didn't know what your
Banned from
opinion
Twitch.
was.
Demonetized on YouTube.
It's like, okay, so go on. And Mr.
So Ryan's
Rogers
really
Can't get
fucked
any
up
worse.
a little bit
It's only
here.
getting better.
Man, that really blew y'all up. I didn't think that would be that controversial. I didn't plan it. It just
What?
kind of
No,
Murdered
great.
parents is usually a taboo topic.
Yeah, people
boy
usually
Double.
touch you about a vicious parental murder.
He's
and-
immune.
Yeah.
So,
All right, go on. Well, by the way, goodbye, Double Lift ever coming on the podcast.
please, that's it.
We're gonna have him next week.
We
He just
yeah.
canceled.
We already had him lined up.
On the
Right.
bright side,
was
though,
not there.
on the bright side, though, we just booked his brother. Who's gonna do the podcast because
That's
of
right.
your kind treatment of believing that he's probably innocent.
He's a legend. It's not
Yeah,
even
it's a
fucking
legend.
innocent
Yeah.
until proven guilty.
And
Yeah.
offer a free legal counsel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't make the rules of this country. That's the founding fathers' plate. Take your crap up with them. Anyway, so speaking of really fucked up, Riot is really fucked up, and they're mean and cruel and horrible people. Not me. I'm nice. But I just didn't understand why they moved it online. Like, and I didn't know if I was the only one who was like, why are we playing these meaningless fucking games? Like, there's what do you get for winning Spring Split? MSI? Is
Pride
that
and
happening?
Satisfaction.
Is that happening now? We're gonna have MSI now? Is that
In July,
No, we're
right?
not.
No,
That's
we're
not
not.
happening.
We're not fucking having MSI. So there is literally no reward to winning Spring Split. And like, let me be clear. In a corona-free world, MSI is still not a major reward. Like, this is
Actually,
like,
traditionally, MSI has fucked up all the teams that have gone to it
yup.
because they don't get the mental reset that everybody else gets. They drill hard
Mhm.
against international teams and then come back burned out for the spring split.
Yep.
Typically,
So,
what happens.
you know, they ain't getting their one pickle tickle. They ain't getting them hooks. You know what I mean?
I
That's
actually
amazing,
do know
yeah,
what
for
you
real.
mean, which is
Mhm.
surprising because you used a lot of slang there.
I did. Getting them hooks.
I'm out of the loop on this one, man.
Hookers, prostitutes.
Ah.
I
Pickle
believe-
tickle is
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah,
self-explanatory.
I mean, I got that. I just didn't know who was doing the tickling.
Oh, the
paid
hooks. The hooks.
sex
were.
workers. is the-
Okay.
Yeah, paid sex workers.
Sex workers.
Ah.
Either
all
blue
come together
essence
now.
or just cold hard cash.
Blue Blue essence sex workers is not a thing. It's not.
Oh, it is. There is a girl who has definitely fucked somebody for blue essence. Don't even act like that.
Can you even give someone blue essence?
No. No, you
They-
can't even transfer it.
You can figure a way.
That guy chlamydia. She gave him the blue essence.
I'm not saying she got paid as a sex worker. She just got promised some of that blue essence.
the
guy's
bluest
skipped
of
out of town.
essences.
That's why you got to get one of those blue essence pimps.
You got to.
You know,
Only in
collect.
Vegas. It's the newest Bunny Ranch thing.
Yeah,
right after Dennis had a heart attack. The guy who owns the Bunny Ranch, he died after winning the senator race because he should be a politician. Anyway, speaking of prostitutes, so I think it's fucked up. And I think you've got a lot of academy players that don't have any real stake in this. I think you've got a lot of international players who are going to find it more and more difficult to go home and be with their families or escape American fucking healthcare. Like, you know, like if you're from Europe and you're here, you're like, fuck, I need to get home. Like this healthcare sucks. And I thought that was really messed up. That's my opinion. I didn't know what other people thought about it.
So, I mean, it's interesting because normally I wouldn't have thought, and this is admittedly short-sighted, I wouldn't have thought this to be a problem because it's like, it's international. You know, and I would have been like, oh, it's NA, so everybody's here. Everybody lives here. But I'm like, oh, wait, no. 3/4 of our players are from other countries. Okay, that makes more sense in that they want to travel to their homes to be with their families in a pandemic. Okay.
Yeah, that makes common
Rito
sense.
says
That
no.
makes sense.
We've got to have our online games.
We gotta have. Well, I mean, keep in mind they are being paid an exorbitant amount of money to do the job. Not to say that like you can buy your family not dying from coronavirus, but you know that
In
being
America,
said,
you can.
yeah, sure. Sure.
But would I? You know, I mean, how much are we talking about here? You know, I mean, that's...
But I mean, yeah, I understand your point that it's literally for nothing, even kudos at the end of the split, because it's like you don't even get any kind of real reward. So you're chasing like a fake trophy or what? A congratulations?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I guess it is a lot of money for the organizations because if you win a split, you get paid a chunk of the season revenue.
Yeah, but the splits was done before it started. I mean, if you had like a 4-way tie for first place, I get it.
We had a 4-way tie for second place.
Second place, that's true, yeah. But you know, we all know who won the split. Like, it was done. Yeah. It was done deal. There was no way Cloud9 didn't win, even if they just didn't show up. Yeah. And it was like, fuck it. Hey, like sneaky cutouts, like 5 cardboard cutouts of sneaky, just sitting there, just trolled it. That's what they did for their online shows. It's a throwback.
Well, see, so I thought the funny thing is I hadn't even thought about the whole international thing. I thought you were having a problem with it because they were being forced to like bunk down together to practice and shit.
They already
like
live
the
all
same
together.
Room and whatever.
Do they still?
Some of them do.
I don't think they need to be in the same room. Like, but let's be fair. If there's a human being that was bred to survive this type of pandemic by staying in a fucking room and having zero human interaction, it's a professional league player. Like I'm not worried about those guys. Those guys don't see or hear anybody. They just put the food in the slot, and just like a solitary confinement. Like that doesn't strike me as like if you're playing this game 16 hours a day, you're not getting a lot of human interaction.
Right.
But you are in LA, which is, you know, I don't know if it's a hot spot, but is becoming, it's ripe. It's ripe to become the next big stop. But I think they're doing a lot to prevent that from happening. But still, it's just like, why are we doing this? This is not necessary.
I 100% agree with you guys that it's not, like, they should have just canceled the split and all that, but I do disagree about the fact that spring split doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, I mean, I know summer split's how you get to Worlds and that's how you win the World Championship and all that, but each league is like NALCS and, you know, whatever LEC and they call it now, and LCK and all that are their own leagues, and so I do think that winning a split does have some kind of bearing on, like, you know, these players and what they're working towards. I know it's not the ultimate goal of winning like Worlds and, you know, being the best team in the entire freaking world, but at the same time, like, you do have something to work for at spring split, and if you didn't, then we would see a lot more troll comps and we would see a lot more like just teams kind of messing around with rosters. And I know it kind of happened already with Team Liquid with whatever the guy that came in for Double Lift was, and was Tactical, was that it?
Yeah. Tactical.
Yeah, and I mean he played really well for a couple games, and they put Double Lift back in to like motivate him and all. But I think that a lot of people thought just that teams are going to come in, mess around, do weird comps, try stuff out, play like super high risk, and it was going to look more like what we think scrims look like than actual LCS. But it hasn't really seemed the case. So I'm 100% with you guys that like let the players go home, cancel the split. You know, NBA's canceling. I don't think spring split of LCS is more important than NBA. Or any other sport that's canceled
I am in disagree with you on
on
that.
like a global scale.
Give a fuck about the NBA.
I don't either. I don't like. I've never
How
watched
many
NBA. I've
NBA
watched,
games have you watched this season, huh?
uh,
Zero.
yeah, but I think like as far as like societal impact and all
No,
that, like cultural
okay.
impact.
Yes.
I'm playing devil's advocate. I agree with you. The NBA is a bigger thing than the LCS,
Yeah,
but yes, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the fact that they didn't cancel the LCS is insane. But I do think spring split, like if you don't have coronavirus, the people that are arguing that spring split doesn't matter, like I think that was like a big Reddit circle jerk was, spring split isn't like it doesn't matter at all. Who cares about it? And then the players came out and they're like, we do, like,
Yeah.
this is important to us, and the
Whoa,
coaches
whoa,
and the
whoa,
orgs
whoa,
and all
whoa.
that.
I'm sorry. Like professional players, I don't believe them for a fucking second. I believe Cloud9 thought it was important.
Fair.
That's it. Like I'm sure that their bosses said, "Hey, we need y'all to like make it clear that people that we care about this," and they're like, "Oh, of course we care about this." They don't give a shit.
You don't
I
think
mean,
any professional players care about spring split though?
I think a professional player cares about worlds. I mean, well, let me put it this way. I think if you're on Evil Geniuses, if you're
Well,
on
yeah.
like Immortals, maybe, but like if we're talking about the cream of the crop, those people have their eyes on worlds, and if you offer them dead fucking last, it's like, look, I'll offer you dead fucking last every spring if it means you go to worlds after the end of summer. They'll take it every time.
I don't know, man. I think
Getting to
about like
worlds is the goal.
I
Like
think about like
that's
soccer is like the best analogy I can think of sports wise that has like a global presence. And you think about the World Cup, and I guess that's different because it's not the same teams. Like it's the whatever countries that go together and all. But like just thinking about, and so already my argument's like falling apart in my head, but I'm gonna still go with it because I already started. But like I think about like the Champions League in Europe or whatever, and them winning that. I think a lot of players would be like just pumped to do that and know they're never going to win a World Cup. And so I guess like bad analogy, but for the teams like right now, I've been following 100 Thieves really closely since they got into the org, and that's like the team I pull for. And for them to be, what is it, like 7-2 or 8-2 the second half of the split,
yeah.
and or 7-2 I guess because it's only 9 games, and like for them to possibly have a chance, like their last game against Cloud9, like they looked decent, and they looked like they were kind of with them until Cloud9 just decided they were going to win at like 30 minutes and did. But like how awesome would it be for those guys like Ryoma and Stun, especially two new guys to the NA scene, to come in and actually win a spring
okay.
split.
So let's talk about it. Spring split is the split that you have to prove yourself as a player.
Yeah.
There's no consequences for the org, so it's the org's opportunity to try out people that may or may not work tactical. And it's tactical's opportunity to show that he actually has what it takes to play at that scale. Right? It's your team's opportunity to gel. It's your team's opportunity to create a winning culture or identify a failing one, Team Liquid, and make changes before you go into the actual season of spring split. Like, I look at it as a much more valuable NFL preseason than anything else. And I think that's fair because the preseason doesn't matter to the season, spring doesn't matter to the summer, but things that you iron out. I mean, of course, in the NFL, they're like, we don't play our players because we don't want to get them hurt. That's a different altogether. I mean, that's where the analogy falls apart. But that being said, like, shit, look at Team Liquid. They found Team Liquid season in Carole Baskin's septic tank. Like, it's done. So if they don't fix some shit like immediately, and Broxa was supposed to be fantastic, Double If doesn't give a shit. Like the whole team has this toxic dynamic, and maybe it's the coaching staff that's shit. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like the coaching staff changed. So
yeah, the bottom line is Team Liquid couldn't get the pieces in place in time. Like they had way too much fucking chaos right at the worst possible time. They had to bring in this jungler who was not very good. They had fucking dude. If your season starts with Pobelter being moved from your coach to your jungle position, like that's
you're in a bad way to
you're in a bad spot, man. And like, of
Yep.
course, like double, I think is probably the one of the players that actually was initially, if I remember correctly, very outspoken about how Spring Split doesn't really matter and is mad that it doesn't matter. And
Was
like,
that before or after they started like 0-4 though?
it's before.
Okay.
I mean, he's the president or the vice president of the Players Association. He's been. I remember watching interviews right before the split started, where he's like, "We begged Riot not to do this. Like, this makes this like. I mean, and he was saying the same typical bullshit about it's like, hey, of course we're going to compete. We have professional integrity. We want to win, and we're very competitive. You don't get to be in this position without being competitive. But I just don't understand why you can't. Don't they have that little tournament, the 16-team tournament right before Worlds? What's that called? The play-ins?
Oh, you're
right?
talking about the
Yeah.
Just guarantee if you win a major spring split that you get into that no matter what.
That's
and
fair.
then it's got something.
Yeah.
Like even if you shit the bed completely, because remember when Cloud9 did that? Cloud9 like made it into the play-ins and then made it the fucking semis of Worlds. Like they gelled at the right time. Like I don't understand why Riot just doesn't give you this. And if you have to expand the play-in tournament, expand the play-in tournament. That's easy. Nobody cares about, being an extra. It's like, oh, playing extra games to get into the play-in tournament. Do I get a chance to get into Worlds? Great. Sign me in. Sign me up.
Yeah.
But the MSI is completely worthless, in my opinion. I mean, it's international experience, but it's just it's a bad product.
It's a joke.
And
nobody watches it.
Nobody watches it. It's not cool. And it's not a valuable enterprise. It's not a valuable prize. Like Spring Split is an endeavor and deserves a prize. And if you're not going to give people a prize for it, then I mean,
okay. So keep in mind, you guys are looking at the prize only as like, do I have a trophy on the wall? Do I have like international worlds appearance? Like that's the prize. But also the prize is money. And in their contract, if they go to MSI, they get money, like a lot of it. So if it's me and I'm like, you know what, I'd like to have $20,000-$30,000. Let's go to MSI. That's a prize because a car is a prize in a fucking game show. It's the best prize in most game shows, and $30,000 is a fucking very nice car.
Very nice.
When's the last time you bought a car?
Very nice.
All right. I just bought a Mazda CX-9 for my family for under $38,000 in 2014.
Well,
that's a nice
okay.
vehicle.
That was 6 years ago.
It's dependable.
38 is more than 30, and 6 years ago, $30,000 got you a little more in cars.
Just put a trailer hitch on it so I can haul bicycles.
Watch your shins. Thing will fuck up your shins, man.
You will. Just keep the ball out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I do. I leave that out. I just put the bike rack on it or whatever.
So like I said, playing it online, I mean, plus this would be a really cool way to like make it an NA only tournament. It's like the NA. It's like we're kicking out all the internationals to go up. Like, the pure.
So you're saying they should have just let the players go home and then actually fielded NA teams?
Donald Trump would be all about it. He's like, only Americans in the world.
Get them out of here with their Denmark virus.
Right.
Oh man, yeah. That's something I did see. There was a thing on Reddit the other day that was like, a couple weeks ago, I think, but like newspaper ads for professional League of Legends players, and it was 100 Thieves and I think Cloud9, and it was for like a top laner for 100 Thieves and something else for Cloud9, and people were freaking out about it, and everybody's like, they just have to prove that there's no like eligible candidates so that someday and whoever else it was can get work visas. And so like they had to put the newspaper ads.
That's brilliant.
But they had newspaper ads in LA for professional League of Legends players. So if you guys live in LA and you want to answer those,
I'm fucking applying.
go for it. I think you got a shot, man.
I mean,
You're right.
After that coaching you got?
I'm killing it, baby. I'm killing
Okay,
it.
let's talk about the coaching because that's the transition to what we actually wanted to talk about. And we've talked about LCS for way too long. So back to the heart of the podcast, getting better at League of Legends. That's what we're doing. This is the story. So, Double, where were you at in terms of your rank, ELO, whatever, prior to coaching? Where were you?
I'm trying to figure it out, man. Like, where is it? Isn't there like a little graph you can use?
There is.
Tier graph. All right. Monthly. Weekly. All right. Right now, I'm sitting at gold 1. It's April 1st. On March 8th. Let me see here. Wait a minute. That's not right.
On March 8th, I was Plat 5.
You actually dropped 60 LP from March 8th to March 22nd.
Anyway, I was struggling in gold 3 and gold 2. I don't trust this tier graph. This isn't very good. Let me see here.
Mobilytics has a pretty good one. If you want to hop on there.
Let me see.
Mobilytics said I lost even more.
Oh my god! What the fuck?
Oh.
I got a message from Double Lift. He says, "Fuck you." Talk to Riot. Fucking done, son. Anyway, so I was struggling in gold 3. Couldn't get out of gold 3 or gold 2. And I broke down. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I can't figure it out. So I did what I have told lots of people to do, and I paid for a coaching session, and I found it to be extremely helpful. And that's
who'd you get coaching from?
Is
it just some random person?
I went to a website and read some reviews and applied for a guy, and it was like $15 an hour. And I was like, I have $15. I have an hour. And I think his name is Kurioku.
So all the pieces came together.
They did. It
was like the perfect storm of having $15.
In one hand, I have $15 and an hour. I could combine these two and sacrifice them both and see if it gives me LP. And it did.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Who did you get coaching with? Where did you get it through?
I got it through a place called gamersensei.com. They had a bunch of different, you can pick your role, you can pick your champs. There's a lot of different coaches. This guy's resume looked good. He said, I mean, and I take this shit with a grain of salt because there's no way to really fact check any of that. It's like, oh, I was a challenger team coach or a professional coach. It's like, I don't fucking know. Anybody can say that. You know what I mean? So I take some of it with a grain of salt, but I wanted to find somebody who coached mostly jungle because most of these coaches, they try to coach all roles. And I was like, I'm a little skeptical about that. And I found a guy, he's normally 19 an hour, is like 15 an hour. I was like, I'll give it a shot. So bought an hour session, met up with him. And the way it works is like they have a calendar of when they're available and you kind of pick your time frame. And if they see it and they're cool with it, then you make an appointment. And we set up a Discord call and he looked at my OPGG and broke down a lot of math for me. And then we looked at some of my replays.
So stop right there.
Yeah.
Broke down a lot of math for you. What do you mean?
Okay. He said that one of the reasons I'm having trouble is because I was playing champs with a 51 and 52% win rate. And my response to that was, well, if you're winning 50-50, you're supposed to climb. And he's like, look, if you're not playing, you need to be playing at 55% and above. And the difference is that if you're winning 52% of your games, then and what do you get? Like 18 or 19? It's like, let's just say 20. So if you get 20 LP, lose 20 LP a game, and you finish with a 52% win rate, that's 2 wins over, which means you get 40 LP for every 100 games that you play. And he was saying, well, now let's look if you get to 56 or 57 LP, 57 win percentage, right? He's like, that becomes like 140 every 100 games. So that was a different way of looking at it because, I mean, I've heard it preached and I've actually said, oh, if you're going 50-50, you should climb. And it's like, yes, but you will climb incredibly slow. The other thing that he broke down for me was he was like, the thing that you should be looking at is not your rating, not your gold 2, gold 3. What you should be looking at is your percentage metric. And he actually clipped me an article that I was hoping we could talk about at some point in the future, talking about how because of the backlash, one of the ripples that we're experiencing from their fuck up with positional matchmaking and their decision to slow the climb is that a lot of people find themselves in a lower rank, but they're still where they were previously. Does that make sense? Like, because of the way the numbers are working out.
Are you
Okay,
saying
so
percentages? Like win percentage?
no,
Same?
no. What he's
No,
saying is,
percentage of the
look
top
at
players.
look at me. Right? I'm
Okay.
kind of the perfect example of exactly what the fuck he's talking about. I was tiered out. My MMR was super high. I got triple seated low because I
Right.
had to do 3 sets of placements. It dropped me all the way down to the bottom of plat, but my MMR is still diamond 3. And
Okay.
the entire time I'm at the bottom of plat, I'm playing stacked deck games to try to climb because it's pitting my MMR as higher, but yet my rank is lower. And where I'm winning, like I'm not gaining as much. Well, like what's supposed to happen is if your MMR is substantially different, the game is supposed to try to adjust you to hit your MMR,
Yeah.
right? The
You get like
problem,
plus 30 and minus 8 if you're
right?
like, yeah.
The problem is I'm playing a Diamond 3 game in Plat 4. So the
So
things
your
that would
MMR, since your MMR matches with everybody, you're getting like plus and minus about the same. Is that what you're saying?
no, what I'm saying is uh, the game is supposed to give me hyper wins, like big wins. I get big
Hmm.
LP for winning and just little LP for losing until my MMR balances out. But the problem is I'm still match made at that level of plat 4. I'm still playing with plat 3s, plat 4s, whatever. You can see it on the profile.
Okay.
So I don't. It's a different game to play support at Diamond 3 than it is to play support at Plat 4. The
Oh, I
same
hear you on
shit
that,
does.
Blake. If
Yeah.
anyone would know, it's me.
Well, I mean, the same shit does not work.
Yeah.
And, people don't recognize the same opportunities. It's a totally different ballpark of what it is you're doing. So, it's harder for support to actually carry at lower elo because I'm enabling somebody else. And if they don't know how to be enabled or they don't know what to do with a lead, then my enabling means dog shit, right? So my win rate tanks because I'm stuck below where I should be. And now that I've lost games at plat, then my MMR starts dropping down to what my elo is.
Yeah.
And then now I have a negative win rate in low plat. And now I truly am low plat. Season
Become what you
reset.
feared most.
Dum, dum,
Well, no,
dum.
season resets. I get season resets. I get seeded into gold 4,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's fine. I mean, that's how the reset works. It takes your MMR, cuts it in half, whatever, does the math, kicks me out in gold 4 or whatever. That's fine. I'm back up to the top of gold, but like I'm fighting to get back to where I got dropped from, which is awkward. And I mean,
Yeah.
it would be different if I were a mid laner. Because that's just a 1v1. I control my own fate. I make my own lead. I do shit with my lead to impact the game. Not so much true of a support main. Additionally, the other issue you run into is the deck gets stacked because there are people like me that are solo laners that have been dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And so the matchmaking is fucked up. So, because like it'll put somebody in who's plat 4 in a game where they're actually diamond and they just crush somebody who's actually plat 4 and then you lose and it's completely out of your hands because solo laner popped off, right? It's basically a Smurf pandemic, and
There's
there's
a huge
worse.
Smurf pandemic in the game right now.
Yeah. That's the biggest pandemic in our country right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they should let all the LCS players go home because of the Smurf pandemic. But I mean, yeah, no, that's literally been an issue, and these people can't get out as fast because they've slowed the climb. So it magnifies that problem. I think that's what he's
Yeah.
getting at.
A little bit.
Okay, so then what's different?
He was talking about more the number of like ladder rank, like 11% of the top. Like he was saying that like in previous seasons, even though I may not be, and my elo doesn't necessarily isn't where I want it to be. Like I consider myself to be a platinum jungler, and I was having trouble getting out of gold. He was saying, look, you're probably just as good as you were last season, as far as the number of people playing the game. Like your position amongst the world is still the same. It's just they fucked up the elo situation. So you've got the riot label, which is not accurate, and should not be a good metric for measuring yourself. The best thing to measure yourself season to season is the ladder rank. Right now, 143,000. There are 143,765 players better than me right now. You know, or since I updated, and that like being in the top 11% is what I should be looking at more so than the
Being
gold stuff.
Flat 2 or whatever.
Yes.
Okay,
And
that
it,
makes sense.
I remember you guys did something a while ago where it was like you broke down this is how many players there are if you get to the 100 if you're like the first percentile, you're Iron 4, you're the worst
Okay.
player at league.
So from the top down, it looks like it used to be. They've changed all the numbers now, which is
Yeah.
but it used to be the top 2% were Diamond 5 and above. Right now, Diamond 5 doesn't exist. It's Diamond 4, so all the numbers have changed, and they added in, Master, Grandmaster, and then Challenger, so that did some changing and whatever. And they've redistributed kind of the weight of where everybody falls. So these numbers have changed. But it used to be top 2% and above were Diamond Plus, top 8%, and floated to occasionally be 10 was Plat. And then below that was like the next I want to say 25% was gold. So if you were in the top 75-ish percent, you were gold. And then the top 50% silver. And below that was like bronze and well actually I'm sorry. 50% of the player base was silver.
Yeah.
And then
It was like
bottom
25
was
to
the bottom was
75th
bronze.
percentile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
Because I'm
bottom
looking
was
at
like
it right
bottom
now,
25.
and I'm gold for 48 LP, and it looks like I'm 324,000th pretty much. And Blake, you're 137th, so pretty much like half as many, or way less than half as many people. And so like you're top 10%, I'm top 25, and so it seems like that's a big jump for one division.
Well, I mean, look at the way it used to be. In Diamond, when I was Diamond 5, I was in the top 2%. When I was Diamond 3 in my placements or promos to 2, I was in the top quarter of 1%.
Oh,
Yeah, once you get past like plat, it becomes like the margins are so slim.
right. It just seems like I don't think it. Maybe I'm wrong on my numbers, but it didn't seem like it used to be like that for gold. At least was 25% to 10%. But am I off on that?
No, you're not. They're making the
Okay.
climb really slow, and
Yeah.
I do think that you are. Every 3 games, I've got somebody who obviously does not belong in this elo.
Yeah.
And if they're on my team, usually what happens is those games I have 2 Smurfs. Like sometimes I'll have a Smurf on my team and their team, and it's just a matter of which Smurf pops off. Like I do what I can.
I love leaving my games to a coin flip for another player. By the way,
Well,
that's
I
my
mean,
favorite way to play League.
and we used to talk about this as like 30, 40, 30. What was it? 30? Is that it? 30,
Yeah,
40,
yeah,
30?
30,
Yeah.
30, 40. Yeah.
Yep, 30, 40, 30.
And that number seems off now. It's just I feel like I've got less control over my games, and a lot of it is a coin flip as to because I'm checking stats while the game's loading just to see what's going on. It's like this guy's got a 76% win rate over 150 games. It's like and he goes 11 and 9, 11 and 0, and it's like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
It's like that's been happening a lot lately, and I'm
Well,
not I want to make
I
sure I'm not crazy, so I'm always asking people. I'm like, is it just me, or is it?
I
Or there's
mean,
all these fucking crazy Smurfs, and they're like, no, it's
I
happening.
I will say that yeah, the riots approach was the exact opposite of what makes sense. Like you need to get these people out faster. So the climb needs to be sped rather than slowed. That doesn't make sense logically. Like I get why they would default to slow it down, make it painful for them, but it's like no, they're smurfing, you know,
They're
it's
not here
not
to climb.
they're not here to
I
climb.
I don't know. I
They're
kind of
here
get
to
it though,
stomp.
because the MMR isn't changed. It's just the ranking. Like I'm watching guys unranked to
But
Master
your hold
Series.
on, but your Smurf MMR is fucking low.
Yeah,
Like
it
that's the
starts out
thing.
low. But like I'm watching Huzzy is like the guy on YouTube I watch is like unranked to whatever's every year. And he's been going through and he was in like silver playing with platinums. And so yeah, like the climb itself is slow. Like I don't know what, episode or how many games he's played and all that are so far, but it seems like his MMR is putting him at pretty high rank games. Like he's in diamond games now. With I don't know how many games, like 60, 70 games probably, maybe more than that. But he's in diamond games as a gold player. And
Okay,
so,
so there is a level of Smurf detection that it will like throw you
yeah.
up in the ranks. The problem is that with the season shift, it knocks everybody down and then
Hmm.
you stay down after a while. And like so whenever I got bumped from D3 to did 2 resets to the bottom of plat, right? I wasn't playing against other diamond players. My MMR does not change. Riot says that. They say your MMR stays the same
From season to season?
from season to season.
I
Your
thought they like
rank,
bumped it
nope.
halfway down to like
Your
gold 5
your
or gold
rank
4.
gets reset based on the soft reset. Your
Okay.
MMR stays the same. It transfers season to season.
Okay.
So theoretically, I should have been match made against other diamond players.
Right.
I wasn't. Like, and
Hmm.
I wasn't playing against diamond players that are still in plat.
Whoa. Are you suggesting that Riot either lied or was incorrect about something that they said?
How dare you,
I mean, I
Blake?
think that Riot is like the king of making broken systems.
That's 200 years.
It's the
200
most
plus
egregious
fucking
thing that's
years.
been said on this podcast.
Well, okay.
200
Well,
plus.
here's the thing. Like,
Way worse than the double lift parent comment.
yeah, it's so much worse. Here's the thing though. Like,
We're moving on.
I will give Riot some credit in some of the things that they do that are good. That being said, like we are still living through the fallout of the whole positional matchmaking system. Like that's still happening. And the problem is it's
Yeah.
not the MMR fuck up that is causing the problem. Like that's already passed. Now we're living in the age of frustration from it. And like the player base feels more toxic at the end of season 9 through this season than I think I have ever experienced before. And I'm not trying to throw that out as like oh my god, everybody's so
Quit being a sensitive
toxic.
little bitch, Carole
Yeah.
Baskins.
Right. So it's I'm not
Don't you
trying to
discount Blake's feelings, double
yeah,
sniffed.
I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying like my experience in solo queue has just been who gets the bigger, whinier bitch loses. Like 90% of the time, they just lose. And it's always kind of been like that. But this season, it's like every fucking game.
It's
You get
fair.
the Oriana that won't help the Echo. And it's like, come on,
I mean, look, though, if
That
you're going
was
to be a
that was pretty
toxic,
good.
whiny little bitch, she did it with style. I mean,
No,
like
yeah.
that.
that
You
was
got it. There's
just
You
like
can't even
bait
get
'em
mad at
along
her
like
about that.
no, I mean I'm imagining her like in a little motorboat with like a fucking life preserver, and the guy's like, "Help, sharks!" And then she's like, just kind of nudging the gas a little bit, like just as it gets to the guy's reach. She's like, "Nying. Oh, you
This is
almost
for
got
not
it!
waving at me
Oh,
as you went past on your boat.
yeah, should
I
have
fucking
waved,
brother.
bitch. You know, cue my minions." Asshole, like you're murdering. This is your why, like so. Yeah, no, this season just feels more awful than previous seasons, and I think a lot of that is like frustration with positional matchmaking and elo reset, frustration with the climb, frustration, streamers tipping the balance back to toxic streamers don't get punished. Toxic players, toxic actions don't get punished. Toxic speech gets punished. Toxic action
Not
does
even.
not.
Not even. I've reported 6 people for using the N word. Nothing. Which should be like the most easy fucking thing. And don't get me wrong. I did it because I didn't like them. Like, you know, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, you shouldn't use that. I'm not trying to make sure that I'm this
did
crusader.
you not like them because they use the N-word? Like, I feel
no,
like
I didn't like them before they used the N-word, and then that was just a little cherry on top. And I was like, oh, thank you, delicious, excellent, you know. And nothing.
But
So
I mean, shit, like, I've had people.
This is the longest I've gone without being chat restricted. I can't fucking remember a time I've gone this long without being chat restricted. Like,
just throwing N-bombs out every day.
I'm honor. I've reached checkpoint 1 of 3 before honor level 3. I have never sat here this long. Like, this is a fucking anomaly. And I'll tell you this. This is funny. You'll like this, Blake. I have another account named Turd Bjergsen, and I forgot about this account. I was like, I want to play on this account a little bit. And like, it'd been a year since I played on this account. And I have a 25 game chat restriction on this account. And like, it pops up like the reason you're chat restricted when you log in. Every time you relog, it's like, oh, and I was like, oh, I remember that motherfucker. Yeah. Dissed his ass. Like, and I get to relive it.
That motherfucker.
I forgot all about that motherfucker, man.
That motherfucker was the left and right Twix of being an asshole.
For real. And I'm still like, I'm down to like 6 chat restricted. Yeah, I mean, every time I get chat restricted, my win percentage goes up.
So I mean,
it's almost like you should just turn off chat.
I told my coach that when I got the
put that
coaching
feature in
session.
there?
He was just like, just get chat restricted, get a little boost. That's how we do it. I just call somebody. You know, I don't use the N word. I will say that.
Good man.
I exercise a little bit of restraint.
He has standards. He'll talk about parents getting brutally murdered, but not use the N-word.
Murder.
Well, define brutal. We weren't there.
It was a stabbing.
We weren't.
You don't know all stabbings are just brutal. Like,
yeah,
I
brutal.
think that's the nature of stabbing.
You might have a point there. I'll concede that.
It's not like a poisoning or a gunshot to the head. Like, it's a fucking stabbing. That's
or
the
feeding
most
your husband
brutal...
to tigers.
Yeah, or like even sardine oil first.
Pretty brutal.
Or putting perfume on their boots. It's nothing like that.
The cattle, that's all they do is if you put perfume on the boot. I'll shoot you in the fucking head.
Carole Baskin.
Carole fucking Baskin, bitch.
Oh god.
You know what's gonna happen is like Astro's gonna listen to this and be like, "What the fuck are these boomers talking about?
Who the fucking Carole Baskin?
Who's fucking Carole Baskin? She's
I only watch Wicked Tuna."
That was good.
Welcome to the cast, Jinsos. You just
made
it.
Forever now. This is my
Wicked
audition.
Tuna.
I've been saving these jokes for years.
Yeah, you're bullying suicidal teens at an old man level. You're doing great. You're
perfect.
I'm sorry, but like Joe Exotic busted the whole lid of what I thought online bullying was. Like, there's just a new.
That's right. I haven't made a talk show yet about Astros.
I haven't bought a mannequin, dressed it up like Astros, duct taped tannerized to its crotch area, and then shot it with my AR-15.
Posted a picture.
Carole Baskin wants my bed. Blow the shit up. Just like, and I've blown up a toilet with tannerite. So this is not something I haven't done. I have tannerite. I have
posted a picture of a horse's dick and has been like, this is Astro's crotch.
That's a real horse dick. Tiger King, you're missing out. It's on Netflix. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It is a stunning commentary on a modern day man and a modern day struggle.
And what else do you have to do right now?
Oh,
this is our generation's Fountainhead. That's right. This is like the Ayn Rand. There's going to be a whole like third.
What's Fountainhead?
Oh, the Fountainhead is this bullshit book that spurned a lot of individualistic right-wing bullshit. I'm sorry, I don't want to talk about politics. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But like, it's a monumental piece of bullshit about how
the previous generation had like who is John Galt, and we have who is Carole Baskin.
Exactly.
I'm gonna make bumper stickers for the Lola podcast. It's like, who is Carole Baskin's Lola podcast?
How far is
Oh.
Oklahoma from Cassville, by the way?
Oh,
How
not
far is this
far.
place?
Like
We
an
gotta
hour.
go. If we do a meetup, we gotta go to
Where
the GW.
is that damn place? Like I wonder
it-
if we could do. Is it
they
the
made the new
GW
one.
Zoo? In
No. They made the new one with Jeff Lowe, right?
You haven't fit. You obviously have not finished.
I have
Tiger
finished
King.
it. I was just like half asleep. the
No,
last
I
one.
haven't. Hold on, I have not finished it. I already know all this insane shit. I'm only like 4 episodes in. So
The Greater Wynwood Zoo.
Yeah, Wynwood, Oklahoma. Okay, so I need to figure out how far of a drive it is from my
yeah,
house.
right.
Still under the ownership of CEO Jeff Lowe.
Jeff has been around big cats since he was a toddler. Later in his life, he went on to work with Robbie and Evel Knievel,
Oh my god.
as well as the musician Prince.
Huh. Well, that's
What?
impressive.
Yeah, is it? How does that was Prince spelled? Is it Prints though? Like I could see Jeff Lowe pulling some
dude.
shit like that.
No,
Holy
it's like-
shit. This place
like
is like
Princess.
5 hours away. It's closer to Ponderous than it is to me.
We should send him. We need to send him on a recon.
Actually, we should send him and just be like, Ponderous, take a camera. Yeah,
We
go
need
to
more
the
Patreon
animal
money
park.
so we can send Ponderous to the Greater Wynwood Exotic Animal Park.
The
Yeah,
Greater Win. It's right up 35, Pondy.
Yeah, he would go. He would
It's
tell
like
you
11
it's
hours
between
from
here
me.
and there.
Jeez. Isn't Ponderous down in like San Antonio?
Yeah, but I mean that's not that far.
He got nothing better to do.
That's
I
true.
mean, dude's he's quarantined, but he's young. He doesn't abide by that shit.
Mm-mm.
He didn't care to kill the
Didn't
elderly.
give a shit.
If there's somebody that doesn't care to kill the elderly, it would be Ponderous.
Anyway, get a coaching session. They're really good.
Yeah,
So
what
yeah,
about, by the way,
how's it changed your outlook?
Sorry, back on topic. It gave me a better sense of like what to do and what to look for, like how to make opportunities, how to spot them, and what to do with them when you get them. Like when his big thing was he uses this word called tempo, which I'd heard a lot of analysts use before. I never really understood it, but it's essentially like, we're just getting started on this. So he's like, all I want you to worry about is numbers. Like, and he impressed in me the idea that if you can't see, like we did this drill where I would watch a replay and make a mental note or vocalize whenever a tempo change happens. And essentially it's whenever the numbers change. And he's like, do you know where the mid laner is right now? And I was like, the enemy mid laner. I was like, no, I have no idea. Well, then where are they? And I was like, I don't know. They're nowhere. And he was like, no, if you can't see them, they're everywhere. Which is something that I'd never really had broken down to me before. He's like, you can take these educated guesses. Like, obviously, if the dragon just got killed, the jungler was down there. Like, you don't have to see them on the map. You can use these different cues to sort of figure out where people are to make better plays. But essentially, don't make a play where you don't have tempo. And then once you get tempo, take that tempo to other places on the map to gain advantages. And he gave me like a list of things to look for. He was like, prioritize lane advantages, meaning if you can get a plate, if you can get a tower, do that. That's the first thing you want to do. The second thing you want to do is take neutral camps, dragons, or rifts. The third thing you want to do, the third priority, is invading the jungle and counter jungling. And he was like, look, what you want to do is take a look at the risk reward ratio of all these things in context to what else is going on the map. So if I can get 4 plates top by telling everybody, hey, let's stay top and take these 4 plates, it's not as good a gold if we're still losing 3 plates in the mid because we didn't rotate down there, stuff like that. So I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense, but it was just a different way of like my pattern had unfolded where I would go get a gank and then use this as an opportunity to like clear my jungle.
So basically what he's saying is your tempo then, if I'm defining this term properly, would be like the opportunity generated from your action.
Let's see here. He defines it for me in some of the messages here because I asked him later. I was like, I'm confused about this. When do I have tempo? Numbers advantage? I mean, I don't know. I guess, sorry, repeat the question. I want to make sure I'm understanding it correctly.
To define tempo is basically the additional opportunity you get as a result of whatever action you performed. Right? I did a successful gank on the mid laner. now I have an opportunity to take these plates, or I have an
Yes and
opportunity to
no.
go
I
dragon, or I have
I
an
asked him
opportunity.
about that, and I was like, "Is tempo something that like happens after a gank, or is tempo something that's like a prerequisite for a gank?" And he was like, "It's more like a prerequisite." So he's like, "If you don't know where the enemy jungler is, and you don't know where the support is, don't make a play mid because you don't have tempo there. That could be a 3v2 that you're walking into." And his whole thing was also, I mean, people can argue about this, but he was saying, "I don't want you to gank unless you can absolutely get a kill. Like, we don't gank just to burn flashes, just gank for kills." And I was like, okay, and I'm working on that as well. Sometimes I don't get a kill because they flash or they make a good play, but I still could have. You know what I mean? That's a line that I'll have to further hone as I try to evaluate my play a little bit more. But essentially, what I'm looking for are numbers advantages in ganks that are safe and secure reasonably. I mean, obviously, if I can make an educated guess, there's always going to be some risks that I have to take. But like, so I see the jungler top side on a ward. That means I can gank bot if I see everybody else on the map. So I gank bot, which means we have 3v2, which means if if those two bot laners die in that gank, we've got super tempo in the bot lane because it's going to take them their death timers plus 20 seconds to get back to that tower. So I have 40 seconds of tempo to do something. And then I run through the mental checklist of what I'm supposed to do. It's like, can they finish off this tower without me while I rotate to Drake? Can they finish off this tower while I go invade? Do they need me to help them take down the tower? Shit like that. Can I grab the support and say, hey, Braum, you got Moby Boots. Let's roll to mid. Let's roll into their jungle and grab some vision. Let's do, trying to keep your eye towards what's the next play instead of just thinking, oh, well, I got a gank, we got our lane ahead, we got some gold, we got some advantage. Let's go back and just be satisfied with that. It's more about how can we take this here? How can we've talked about this before in the podcast before, taking your advantages to other lanes. He gave me a better plan for how to actually practically put that into place. Instead of the broad comp, you hear this broad concept all the time. Oh, you have to get an advantage in a lane and take that to other lanes. Well, that's great. And I didn't realize how little I understood about that concept until he actually broke it down to me. It's like, holy shit, I'm not doing this at all. Like, I'm not pinging my top laner who's got the wave pushed in and an open teleport to come in and do a 4-man dive gang bot. You know what I mean? Like, the types of shit that when you see done to you, it's like, what the fuck? These guys are so good. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to make that shit happen. And that's what he was talking about. And that's a really interesting point. He was like, look, if you're a gold 2 player or a gold 1 player, everybody on your team, their median is gold 1, meaning they may play like a gold 4, silver 1 player, but they also have the potential to play like a plat 2 player. It's my job as a jungler or my job as a teammate to not only elevate my play, but to elevate my teammates' play. And I need to be the one to like visualize these advantages and visualize these calls and help them make these plays. Remind my Aurelia, hey, we've got a ward down here. I'm going to sweep behind them, ward, TP in, 4-man, fuck these guys. Then we rotate to Drake. Then we rotate to mid. Then we rotate to Rift. Then we get the Rift Herald. We kill your top tower. And then you started to steamroll the whole fucking game and snowball the whole game. And that's something that, another topic that's like people talk about snowballing. And I thought I knew what it meant, but he was the first person I needed a coach to like say, no, this is practically a blueprint for snowballing a game. And these are how you should prioritize your decisions after doing it. Still lose games, don't get me wrong. Like, the best way for me to lose a game is to try to make a play on the enemy jungler and get fucked. That's one of the things that I do want to work on is how to jungle from behind. Because if I get ahead early, that's where I was having my issues in Gold 3 and Gold 4. I would get ahead early and not play to win the game. I'm like, I don't understand it. I'm 4-0 and 3 with Warwick. Why am I losing these games? He's like, here's why you're losing these games. Because you're not using your advantage. You're not going into the jungle with this strength and fucking the enemy jungler. And he showed me a video of what he did. It was crazy. Like, he's like, this is a video of me playing a high elo game with Jarvan. I have 7 kills in 8 minutes. And he just broke down his entire rotation, his thought process of like what he's doing. And he's like, I get the red buff. I go down to gank the bot lane and I tell my Thresh, I'm like, Thresh, I want you to flash flay them to burn both of their flashes. And he does. And he burns both their flashes. Jarvan comes in, EQs them, knocks them both up, gets a double kill. He's like, do I go back? Fuck no. I go to mid. I fuck the mid laner. It's nuts. I'll show you the link. It's crazy. But it's just like, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. So we fixed some of my problems. I was leaving gold on the map too much. I've always had that problem, dude. I'll zone out, be doing really well, and like be like, oh, I have 3,900 fucking gold. It's like shit. That's a problem. That used to happen to me a lot in community. You see a lot of community games where I've done that. Like, oh shit, I got like 3,800 gold.
Right,
like,
I could be so much stronger. Right
yeah,
now.
Maybe I want to buy an entire full item.
Yeah, maybe I want to buy a Mazda CX-9 for $30,000.
2014 Mazda CX-9
Save
with that kind of money.
really nice
That's a down payment on a nice car, dependable, family ride.
It's fair.
So,
That's a good way to change that up.
So,
but I mean, there were coaches for $50. There were coaches for $10. There were coaches. I had one coach a while ago, but he was Polish, and it was really hard to understand. I didn't hate the, I mean, he just had a really thick accent.
Like negative about Polish people.
No, he was really
just
nice.
hate Polish people.
But I also,
this is how I got chat restricted.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem. He's great, but it was just like he had a really thick accent, which made him difficult to understand. And if English was not his first language, and I had a Mac back then, so I couldn't stream. He couldn't watch my games live. Now that I have a PC, a nice computer, I hope I haven't had an opportunity to try that, but that was one of the things that was a problem. But I got an American coach. I went to Gamer Sensei. There's tons of these places offering coaching. Yeah. And it's like $15. Like, am I enjoying League a lot more now? Yes. Like that's $15 well spent. Like I've gotten 10. There have been at least 10 games after getting this coaching session that I have had, even if I've lost, that I've had a much happier time with. Other than that, if somebody said, "Can you feel this much better about a game? Pay $1.50 for 10 games." Be like, "Fuck yeah!" That's a no-brainer. I mean, like $15 is a lot of money to some people. I'm not sitting here saying it is. You know what I mean? But
we're not all
figure
lawyers.
It out.
Well,
we're not all.
To be fair, it's as if there was a podcast that essentially does this for free.
No.
Doesn't even require a Patreon payment.
I mean, I guess that's the same thing too. If you get coaching sessions from somebody on the league, that's great. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I do think when you pay for somebody to do, when you make a sacrifice to do something, it's going to be more impactful for me. You know what I mean? And I mean, Blake was talking to me about, it's like, I could have coached you. It's like, no, you couldn't, because
I said actually that it was better that you didn't get coached.
No, you did eventually. Don't get me wrong. You did. We agreed on this, and he was like, "It's better for you not to get coached by your friends." Like, I want somebody. And during the session, he was like, "I hope you don't mind me being an asshole." I was like, "Look, no, this is fine. Roast me. Like, that's effective. Like, what the fuck are you doing? That's a good question. Sometimes people need to be asked, what the fuck are you doing? I tell my clients this all the time. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. Like, sometimes
slap me in the face, spit in my mouth.
Sometimes that's an important thing to hear.
If you're into that.
Now, if you're somebody that can't handle that, then tell your coach that. Say, hey, I don't like being talked down to. I need positives.
Coach, I'm a coward.
I got picked on when I was a child.
I have sensitive feelers.
Yeah. Also, if you do have a problem with that, probably don't ask me for coaching.
Or if you're Kevin Spacey.
If you're Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey should not. Yeah. You're Kevin Spacing.
Well, no, I think I could coach Kevin Spacey pretty well. I'd be like, you know how aggressive you are sexually in real life? Just do that in League. You climb like crazy.
Perfect champ for you, Kevin. Her name's Evelyn. She charms people and then touches them.
She comes out of nowhere and then touches you in the ass. You think you don't want it, but there's hearts over your head, so you're unsure, and then you die.
Or Zoe, she puts you to sleep.
That's
the Bill Cosby.
That's the Bill Cosby of League of Legends, Sammy. You're asleep, you're dead, you don't really remember what happened, but you're pretty sure you didn't consent.
God.
I knew something was wrong with that pudding. That pudding tastes
on a different note, Double Sniffed, is that gamersensei.com promo code LOLA?
What flavor of
No.
pudding is this?
I am
It's
not affiliated.
prescription pills.
I'm not affiliated with anybody on the website. And honestly, there were a bunch of different websites I looked at. That was just the one that I liked the way that they presented. I read the reviews.
Likes to cut a damn jig.
I thought they did a fine job.
We could probably pull a sponsorship from this.
I doubt it.
No.
No. We have like tens of viewers.
Yeah,
we do. We got to corner the bamboo underwear market first.
Okay, to be fair, we did sell a good amount of gentleman's beard balm back in the day, and I think we never got a check for it.
Fuck them. Who are these people?
Okay, to also be fair, they did send me 4 free cans of gentleman's beard balm because I told them I wouldn't say good things about the
But you
beard
are
balm
not a
unless I
gentleman.
tried it.
I've met a gentleman, Blake, and you are no gentleman.
But my beard smelled fantastic for like a long time.
Smell like sandalwood.
So they really did have a good product. I just don't think they ever paid us to do their deal. But then again,
Unbelievable.
I can't confirm or deny that because I have no idea how many people actually bought from them. But some people said they did. So we should have gotten at least like $4.
At least 3 people.
All 3 of us have beards. I don't have enough of a beard for balm.
No,
you
think not, but it's real nice.
I just rub it with fresh Corona.
I was at my office at work, and I found a can of gentleman's beard balm sitting in my office. And I
love how you keep calling it gentleman's beard balm.
That's what it's called.
Oh, the name is Gentleman's.
Yeah, it's Gentleman's Beard Balm. And the brand is Gentleman's. They have like
fair
a
enough.
guy
That makes a lot more sense.
And like a dapper tux on the front of the lid. It is a hell of a product.
Gentleman's
free
Beard Club?
shout out to Gentleman's Beard Balm. Enjoy your free sponsorship like 3 years later. We love you, Gentleman's Beard Balm.
I'm only finding supplement vitamins for fuller, thicker, manlier beards for all hair types. 60 capsules. Gentleman's Beard Club. All natural, easy, once-a-day solution that addresses common beard growth issues.
Dude, did they shut it down?
No,
here it is.
It is. It's gentleman'sbeardbalm.com.
The Gentleman's Beard Premium Balm. That's not it. That's not the product.
Shut down.
Here it is. Gentleman's Beard Balm. Yeah, here it is. Dude, it's gentleman'sbeardbalm.com.
Oh,
how are you not finding
Club? Well, I typed in Gentleman's Beard and it suggested club. They have a Jack Daniels flavor.
Yeah,
this is why we never got to check Gensos. This shit right here is why we never got a fucking check.
You have a fucking fantastic beard. You never bought the product with promo code LOLA. We did have a promo code LOLA.
Did I need the product?
I probably, yeah.
Probably, yeah. My beard's pretty scraggly.
Fucking amazing.
I just trimmed it up. Yeah.
Then you should.
Yeah. I can twist my mustache a little bit.
So I tried Lumberjack. That's a good smell. I tried Gentleman's Scent. That was a good smell. I tried another one that was Bay Rum or something. That was gross. But the other 2 were so good that it balanced out the fail.
So don't go with Bay Rum.
We were supposed to get like 10 or $15 from these people. I don't think we ever did, but that's cool.
Ooh,
I don't care.
Cashing in them big checks.
That would have paid for part of Ponder's
subscribe to this podcast on Twitch every fucking month with my Twitch Prime shit just to get us $100 check every year so we can pay for our website.
Wait, you get that money?
Yeah, it goes to.
Where's my cut?
I need
you realize how little money that the podcast makes? Like,
do you realize how little I contribute to the podcast?
Yeah. Well, speaking of, we really could use our help with Patreon.
Nice segue.
So yeah, guys, our Patreon's been looking real shabby, and I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad, but like,
hey, they billed me today, so fuck you.
Did they?
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Fuck yeah, they billed me.
I wonder how much they're actually paying out this time.
I don't know. I donate to the community.
Yeah, we're down to like the 150s, which is pretty much the bottom of what we need to pay everything and pay the audio editor and all that. So like,
I can get a Polish guy to audio edit our stuff. Hopefully, shit. Don't tell the audio editor shit. Have him edit this out. Have the audio editor edit this out.
I'm imagining like
the
Swedish
about
chef.
Replacing him. We're gonna outsource our audio editor, but don't let him know.
I can imagine like the Swedish chef from the Muppets just audio editing the fuck out of this thing. But we pay our audio editor, we pay for the website, we pay for the feed, we pay for the Zen
Astro's ass tattoo that he's supposed to get.
Yeah, well that never happened because it didn't get there. Right? We had
Sure.
another idea that was really good for a promotional goal, and I can't remember what the fuck it was.
We were
But-
gonna eat hot wings.
Oh yeah, the hot wing challenge. We still need to do that. I think we probably need to do that for free just to encourage people.
Blake, do you think a chicken nugget covered in wing sauce is considered a hot wing?
No, no one does.
Who had this conversation? I've had this conversation.
Yeah, with John.
It's on the podcast.
Astros said is the same difference.
I only listen to John episodes.
Yeah, John episodes were good.
Yeah.
But
No, I just remember taking the stance that for the purposes of a hot wing challenge, it doesn't matter whether it's boneless or
Yeah.
not because nobody gives a shit about
well,
the
no,
chicken.
I'm not talking about boneless. He's talking about McDonald's chicken nuggets.
Oh, there's a huge difference between a McDonald's chicken nugget and a fucking hot wing.
It's processed
Thank you.
chicken versus like
He's
chunk.
talking about
Is he
just
American?
pouring sauce on like a nugget and then eating a nugget. And I'm like, that's not the same thing. It's just not. It's not the same experience.
Yeah.
You know, boneless or bone in, boneless. I don't give a shit. It's essentially.
It's not
the
a
same.
McDonald's chicken nugget.
I-
But it's
I
not
only
a goddamn
breast meat.
chicken nugget. It's breast.
I don't like bones on any chicken.
meat. What
Awkward
kind of
silence.
fucking jellyfish chicken do you eat?
Well, I mean, like
They're
I
just
eat the chicken.
flopping all over the yard.
no,
like
I'll
that
eat,
one's
like-
my bird.
I'll eat like thigh meat and all that, but you have to take it off the bone before you cook it. Like fried chicken,
No.
it's
What are you
delicious.
talking
What?
about?
But I mean, I grew up in North Carolina, man. Like
Yeah,
fried
motherfucker,
chicken.
I'm in North Carolina right
Yeah, I
now.
know.
We cook the fucking bone. That's the flavor, baby.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
bone
throwing
makes
away
the flavor.
flavor.
You cook the
Okay.
You put that bone in some water, throw some vegetables in there.
You
You
got
got a
stew.
stew going,
What do
baby.
you mean?
Let's do it, baby. No. Okay, so here's the deal. I don't like leaving things on my plate when I'm done. So like if there's something like a boneless wing, if I could remove the meat and put it in a bowl, that would be fine. Or like fried chicken. A lot of
Right.
times I'll eat fried
I'm
chicken
gonna
and I'll
change your life. I'm gonna
fork it.
change your whole life right now. You get your plate, right? And you put your food on it. You put the boned thing in your mouth. You eat it, and then you take the bone in the bowl, put it in a bowl.
Okay, so bone-in wings are great if I'm watching a sporting event or if I'm not eating a meal. But for a meal, one of the worst things you could possibly imagine.
No, it isn't. I can imagine a lot worse than that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like boneless wings. I don't mind boneless wings, but like at the same time, the idea that like chicken is more flavorful
Well, hold
without
on.
bones, completely
No, it's
wrong.
not more flavorful.
Let's
without
just
those.
back
It's
it
just
up.
easier to
You
eat.
literally just says the worst thing you can imagine. Double Sniff, last time he used his imagination, talked about Double's murdered parents.
Well, that wasn't
Like, that
imaginary.
just
That was real.
happened. His
That was
imagination
real,
is
though,
fucking
so-
terrible.
I don't know,
Don't
man.
challenge him.
You know who eats fucking like? You know who doesn't want to put bones on their plate? Carole fucking Baskin.
Fucking Carole Baskin. You know where they find all the
Fucking
chicken bones?
bitch.
Carol's Baskin's fucking
Fucking
septic
bitch.
tank is where they
That,
find all the
uh,
chicken
fucking
bones from all
That
the murdered
tiger's stomach
chickens.
acid dissolves human bones.
I'm running for president.
Yeah. You know who kills friendly bunnies? Carole Baskins.
That's right. You know who eats them bones? Fucking Carole Baskin.
Okay.
You know who
I will say
doesn't
one-
get on
I-
Patreon? Carole Baskin.
Yeah, I will say this though. The one thing that I saw that just literally made me angry from logic about Tiger King, right? Because very logical person, so I'm in this career, right?
The most logical.
I'm just sitting there going, okay, so you're doing a tiger rescue. That's what you call this. But you're not returning any tigers to the wild. And you're keeping them in smaller cages than they were in previously.
No. You don't understand, Blake. The big cat rescue's in Florida. So if she cares about global tigers worldwide, by not releasing Florida tigers into the wild, that's the best thing you can do for tigers around the globe. Motherfucker, can you imagine?
Like the
just-
Florida man of tigers?
You're like in Fiji at a place, like, you know, fucking coconut drinks, umbrellas and shit up in it, chilling with your wife, and then all of a sudden, 50 fucking people from Daytona Beach just show up and
Like,
ruin your fucking life.
Fucking Florida tigers already know how to cook meth.
For real.
Yeah,
Like,
they,
Florida
you
tigers.
drop them off in the
mm-mm.
savannah, they're just rolling through.
Them
It's
tigers
like-
probably cooking the meth that fucking, what's his name's boyfriends were slobbering on with their fucking 3 teeth.
Oh man.
So I got Carol's back on that. Not releasing Florida tigers into the wild is probably,
Yeah, but I mean,
probably
like
a
I
good
said, though,
thing.
like, where does the actual rescuing come in? And
Oh, it's
where are all
100%
these
bullshit.
where are all these deluded volunteers? It's like, I'm saving the tigers. Like, this is a fucking zoo.
I work
You
for
work here
free.
for free, and it's a zoo, and what do you get is a different colored T-shirt.
And they get to pet the tigers.
Yeah.
So
Blake, you
here's what
should
we're gonna do. If you are a Lola Patreon for $50 a month, you get a green T-shirt, and if you're a Lola Patreon for $100 a month, you get a blue T-shirt, and so on and so forth. All the
And
way
these
from-
aren't like the same T-shirts that we're gonna have made. These are just random old Papa Smurf
Yeah, no,
T-shirts
these are-
from his
They're
closet.
my
right.
T-shirt.
It's just like some
I just
rando thing.
drawn 'em in
Honey, I don't
marker.
wear this one anymore, do
Oh.
I? I'm mailing it to Jeffrey.
If you wear $10,000, you get my V-neck white undershirt
Oh,
from
God.
this episode.
Yeah.
Show some
Unwashed.
chest there.
Unwashed. I'll
Mm.
send it to you. You send me your
Hey-
address, and we'll just.
Blake and Double, you guys could rename your businesses Criminal Rescues and fire
no.
all your employees and
I
get
actually-
volunteers.
So I do want to actually go over something. My law office has a group chat, right? And after watching 2 episodes of Tiger King, I got onto my office's group chat, and I said this. Okay, I gotta back up. Damn, I really went off on this tangent. I've been watching
No.
no shit. I've been watching a documentary on improving the work product of my sales staff, and I have some ideas. What's your all's favorite exotic animal? To which my elderly staff member that had no idea what's going on because she hasn't watched the documentary at all says, "Oh dear, I guess mine would be a white tiger." And I said, "Perfect. By the way, we're changing the office's name to Bermuda Blake's Legal Jungle." It's like, perfect. Everybody loves a tiger. If they don't, they're hiding something. So brainstorm tonight on what your new legal names are going to be, because I'm taking your identities. Again, my elderly staff member has no idea what I am talking about.
She's having to deal with coronavirus already, Blake, and you're putting that on her.
Yeah, and then so I said, by the way, I need to find a cat print men's suit that also that is court appropriate and also has room for a holster. And again, she has no idea what I'm talking about. But then I found this suit of a pimp. I don't know if you can see that on the podcast.
Oh,
I
wow.
literally, that was $79. I'm about
Worth
to
every
buy
penny.
it.
Suit is
Yeah,
$79?
that suit was $79 on sale. I'm
Holy
about to buy
shit.
that just to show up to work in it one
yeah.
day and just be like, nope, today you refer to
Oh,
me
come
as...
on, Blake. We know you're going to show up in that bedroom.
I already have it.
it.
I do already own like a white linen Southern prospector suit of like
Oh, my
a
God.
plantation
Like a
owner suit.
seersucker?
Yeah, it's white. It's white
Oh,
linen,
God.
and it's fucking amazing. I look like I'm on Miami Vice, and I go to court in it, and people say this.
Oh,
Found this
my
thing with just
God.
tigers on it.
Yeah, no, I don't want that. I'm not the
Oh, okay.
Tiger King.
Yeah,
I'm
it looks pretty
I'm
slim.
Bermuda
slim
Blake.
fit.
Yeah.
Bermuda Blake.
It was either Bermuda Blake or Bali Blake. I
I like
like
Bermuda
Bermuda.
Blake. That's good.
Bermuda
Thank
sounds
you.
more knockoff. Bali sounds like you put some effort into it.
Yeah, so we don't want effort. It's
No,
just
no,
a
no.
low rent podcast. How am I going to get all the people straight out of prison to work for me if they're like, no, that's a high end establishment.
I want to work for Bali, Blake.
I want to work for Doc Antle over there. And look at how he got them women trained in his office.
I don't give a shit about those animals. How the fuck do you have all them women trained? That's what I want to know.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, wait, no, we got to give Patreon love.
Oh, fuck, you're right. Yeah, we do. Okay, hold on. I got to reopen that because I had it out. You're right. We got to give the Patreon shout out.
Fucking ask for the money and then you leave them hanging.
Yeah, you're right. What am I thinking?
Just like one of those
thank
sex
you.
workers we were talking about. You didn't finish me off.
Just like those Blue Essence sex workers.
Yeah, I was just about to nut. She was like, "Good night, everybody," and I was like, "Oh, that did it. Actually, that was
You're
what
like,
I
that
needed."
was it. That was you
That
pushed me.
was
That
it.
was
It's
I'm over
me
the
every
top.
time, Blake.
It's like, "What are you talking about? You paid me to say it just like that for some reason." I was like, "Shh, we don't talk about this. Don't let."
All
anyone
right,
know."
April 2020. This one goes out to. All right, here's one. Christopher Goetz Z. Goetze?
Goatse?
Yeah, Goetze. Goetz.
Eric Goatse, the Goatse guy, fortune.
Goetze. Goats. Geots. Geots. I don't know. That.
What was his first name?
Christopher. That one I
Hey,
get.
it goes out to Christopher.
This one
Good
goes
old
out to Chris.
Christopher.
You know who you are. You know how to pronounce your last name. So good for you. Thank you for
Thanks.
supporting the pod. Thank you for your continued support of the podcast after this shout out. We appreciate you, Christopher.
Oh, and there's like community games just happening. Everybody's on quarantine. So
Oh,
if
yeah,
you go on the Discord, there's just like shit tons of people there at night. So
Yeah, community games have been popping off lately, regardless of evening. It's still on Mondays officially, but it's been happening like crazy. So,
Except for tonight. Tonight's the first time I've seen in like 2 weeks that there aren't 10 people on.
oh wow, we got a message through Patreon for the first time forever. So I want to read that. So, Rodrigo, Jesus, what is
Rodrigo!
Gialli? Gialli?
Galileo.
Okay, I'm trying. I really am. You guys.
Gaillo.
Gailli.
Gai.
Gai?
Gai. 2 L's is a Y sound.
Okay, Gai.
Gai.
Hey guys, I've been enjoying your podcast for the last year and a half, so I figured it's about time I started supporting you. The podcast is highly entertaining, and I learn something every time I tune in, even if it's something totally unrelated to LOL, like corn. Keep up the outstanding work. Thanks, Rodrigo, and thanks for your support, buddy.
Quarantine.
I appreciate the drop in. So, yeah, I just wanted to get back to him. So I'm going to actually write, thank you.
Yeah, he can just read it on his
Listen
own.
to
Like you don't have to like.
episode 269. Send. And he's gonna be like, "That's weird." And then he's gonna listen to episode 269. He's gonna be like,
And then he's gonna watch Tiger
"Oh!"
King, and that's it.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
it. Then we lost him.
That'll be it.
Because we're really opening the world's eyes to Tiger King. I think it's a pretty underground show right
It's
Yeah,
now.
true.
nobody knows about it.
Nobody's watching it.
It's just number one on Netflix right now, I think.
Blake.
Nice.
Oh no, I did.
Oh.
I did have the coach look at Europ.gg to
Oh,
figure out
good.
why you're not in Diamond, and he said the reason was Carole fucking Baskin.
It's like, that bitch, Carole Baskins, keeping this boy right out of Diamond. It's his number one enemy.
Fucking bitch.
Carole Baskins is a big cat rescue. I'll tell you what about Carole. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Oh my god.